Hey everyone, it's the Sith Justice Warriors coming at you with a happy Valentine's Day for those.
And happy Lunar New Year to a lot of folks out there.
Oh yeah,
Year of the Ox.
forgot about that. And for those that it doesn't fall perfectly into, happy Sunday.
Exactly.
Apologies, I was on vacation last week, so we were trying to figure it out, but it just wasn't working as easy as we'd like to. So let's try to catch up on a few things. I mean, actually, skipping a week ended up giving us a lot more topics to talk about. So, how about this? Lumpia, take it away.
Yeah, there was just a lot of news, like you said, and really it was around Marvel and Disney Marvel, as well as some casting news. So as we all kind of know, The Last of Us has announced the cast, some pieces of the cast of the ensemble for the live action. Pedro Pascal has actually been cast uh, in one of the lead roles, as well as I can't remember her name, but the girl who was in Game of Thrones. She was the young girl. Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank, but I will get her name in a minute. But basically, they've casted Ellie and her father. So it'll be interesting to see what the rest of the cast shapes up to be. Um, and kind of like how true they are going to stay to the script and just because with all the backlash that was going on around the second one and all the just I don't know, there was a lot of buzz around it just from in generalities. I mean, it did win an award in the video game awards, so I don't know, we'll see, we'll keep tabs on it. I didn't know if you had any thoughts, Dan, on that one.
In terms of Last of Us, sorry.
Yeah.
Um, I'm. I mean, I don't have an emotional attachment to Last of Us. I think we've covered the Last of Us 2 controversy. I think it's Pedro. I think has been in the news for how do I say this? Being compared to a situation we'll talk to rather briefly. Actually, no, we'll probably talk about that more in depth. But yeah, Pedro Pascal's been associated with the controversy of Gina Carano, given the way one side tweeted it at something and the other side tweeted something similar, and one got canned, another one gets rewarded or kept. Future Star Wars is an interesting thing, but coming back to The Last of Us, I think Pedro Pascal though is a good actor. I don't know if he's Joel. um have they confirmed that that's Joel?
I thought that it was.
I
So,
don't know how he'd do as Joel, but again, I haven't played it, nor I mean, other than cutscenes, I've not played the game, nor have I have an emotional attachment to him. So, I think what I'd like to probably find are people who are deeper into that Last of Us and probably
Bella
comment.
Ramsey is her name. That's who it was. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think to wrap it up, I probably will look at other podcasters and see their reactions of the people that love the game, love Joel, and see how they react to the way he portrays them, because I don't again I don't it's not like Luke Skywalker where he has to act a certain way or
Well,
um
it's just, you know what it is. He's really the hot commodity right now in Hollywood, like with The Mandalorian, with the I mean, he was in a lot of things before that were actually very well done. Like I heard many good things about him in Narcos, which was a Netflix series he was on, and beyond that, like I mean, he was in Wonder Woman 84. He was in. There's a lot of movies with him in, so he's like the hot commodity right now, I guess, if you will. So to your point, I guess we'll see. It's not surprising because, like I said, he's very popular in the media right now because of in the sense of like, people want him in their projects. But to your point, it's a good segue because, there's a lot of news about it and what does this mean for him in The Mandalorian? Because let's be honest, this is spoiler territory, but the second season actually ended in somewhat a bit of a I don't know, to me, it ended for Din, who he plays. That story sort of ended when he delivered Grogu to Luke Skywalker. And we kind of left it where it was the book of Boba Fett. And personally, I think that that's what Mandalorian season 3 is going to be. But they did, in a weird way, Disney Plus did separate and differentiate Book of Boba Fett versus Mandalorian. And with shooting and everything like that, I don't know what this means for Pedro Pascal. Are they going to push out The Mandalorian because it's actually supposed to be like late in the year that it's supposed to come out again? So I don't know if there will be schedule conflicts or if it's just going to be a reason to exclude him from this upcoming season. Because in my mind, the way it ended was his story with Grogu was over. I don't know what other story is left for him other than we continue with Boba Fett
What was?
taking over.
I mean, it did he had was his first mission about getting Grogu? I forget.
No, well, I think he was supposed to pick him up and deliver him to that guy,
Yeah,
and he
well,
did that, but then he had second thoughts and took him away. But throughout the whole arc of the second season was like finding the place where Grogu belongs, finding a Jedi to train him. Because if you don't train him, his power is unchecked. He doesn't know how to control it. Like he wastes all his energy using the Force, that kind of thing. And he was actually hiding because of that whole, what
Order
did they call
66.
Order 66. So like it was one of those things. So rightfully so, he ends up with Luke. So in my mind, that arc, if you will, is over. He did what the one Mandalorian, the one making the armor, said that was his mission to do. That was the way for him, was to see it out, because he went back and rescued him, see this out, because he basically started something new for himself. So like in my mind, that arc is done. I don't know what's left for him.
I think you've got something going there. I think the best he's got right now is cameos. Like he'll be uh, Downey Jr.'s Iron Man. You know how he's got
Yeah,
his
like
own
yeah,
movie, but it's rather just him popping up for a couple episodes and then calling it peace.
yeah, because like they're focusing on Ahsoka Tano, they're focusing on this Boba Fett, they're focusing on the High Republic. I mean, that big
Well,
launch.
they don't have was it Rangers of the Republic anymore?
Gosh.
So,
Anyway, yeah, so it anyway, the reason it's all under fire is the whole, them letting go of Gina Carano amidst a lot of social media news and postings and things like that. And I'm not here to judge or, be the jury on this. So I'll just say that it's a shame because I really enjoyed her character. I don't, I I understand that she may have said she didn't even say things, to be honest. She retweeted things, in my opinion, but it may have offended some people. So, but for Disney
yes.
to step in because of that versus a reprimand, I don't know. Because they treat people differently. This should be looked at, and I'm not a feminist by any means, but this should be looked at like, how do you treat a woman versus a man? And that's where I'm just like, really, like, this is what we're going to be right now. So you lose a character that people actually really enjoyed. Like, it's sad because they even canceled the figure, the action
Dude,
figure.
the price of the
But
figure is skyrocketing on eBay.
it's funny because it doesn't really look like her. It doesn't do her justice, but it's like, it's kind of good that they canceled the figure, but it's just one of those things where it's like, really, guys, like, whatever.
I mean, let's call a spade a spade. You had Pedro Pascal use and we're not allowed to say we're a reference to the cages. I'll just leave it at that. I think a lot of people have seen it. Pedro Pascal has done something comparing it to a World War II cages. And YouTube's going to ban us if we say specific things. But when Gina Carano does a World War II reference, Well, I'll tell you what,
It's
she
not
was
even a
on
reference. She just retweeted something.
let's just be honest, like regardless, right? So I believe Pedro Pascal retweeted that reference too, right? He didn't make the meme. He's not smart enough to make a meme, so he just retweeted it. Great, that's his opinion. I think it's funny that we've had Disney take back James Gunn after having tweets about liking young children in a specific way, whether they're joking or not.
Yeah,
Patton
exactly.
Oswald also has been on record on tweeting about the similar tastes. I will say that if you're going to be heavy-handed on a specific behavior, you've got to be consistent on it. And that's where I think a lot of people are more not happy about it, is the fact that, again, one side's allowed to tweet so long as it agrees with Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilms. And I think the what's the social media manager or something, just basically alienated, white people. And Disney said, "Oh, it's diversity of thinking." It, it's it's
Well,
really
not just
weird.
that. It's like, well, she's a woman, and if you actually think about all the things you've mentioned, it's all men. So in a weird way, Disney is actually saying, in my opinion, this is my opinion, that I'll forgive a man. And like I said, I am by no means a feminist or ultra feminist, but I've no like that what you just said is true. Like it's all men that they take
No,
back or
I
that
I
they look the other way.
No, they do with women. It's just that it's not the star like the women's stars, like they're not in the headlines doing this derangement syndrome, that they'll leave it at
But she
as.
wasn't even a star of the whole. It was the Mandalorian. It was about Pedro Pascal, but like in a weird way, they need the men. That's what I'm trying to say. She
Well,
was
they
actually a side character that
well,
gained popularity.
well,
She wasn't like
she
the
was supposed
star
to
of the
be the
show.
star of Rangers of the Republic, right? And if you wanted a strong female character who literally was 7-1 in her MMA fights, and that men who like this brand, like that's a lot of money on the table you left. But again, if it to me, it's the inconsistency. I point out James Gunn, Patton Oswald's shown up in a few Agents of Shield. You've got again Pedro Pascal, and then the whole slew of Disney writers like what's his name, Pablo Hidalgo, making fun of Star Wars theory for crying for the
Hmm.
Luke thing. There's really a Disney culture that's just really messed up. Um, I but no, let me rephrase that. It's Hollywood. It's funny because, for example, Chris Evans, Downey Jr., and Johnny Depp go derangement syndrome, but people ignore it because they really love him, right?
Yep.
Like if Chris Evans, despite the fact that he's been so political in a very distasteful manner or uneducated, ignorant manner, I'm gonna be honest. If he came back as Captain America, I would embrace it. It's like Mark Hamill. Like he gets political to the derangement syndrome level, but he's still my Luke. So I actually want to
So
throw out
why isn't she still Cara Dune? That's what I'm trying to say. Like that's
because
where
it's
I feel like it's like, okay, why isn't she still Cara Dune? People's
well,
Cara Dune.
because she breaks the narrative. She's a female conservative leaning person. She's
See,
not.
that's what I'm saying. She's a female. That's the first thing we say. Like, and that's sad.
I mean, look at Letitia Wright. That was supposed to be the heir apparent for Black Panther. She's been not
Yeah,
officially.
exactly. Again, another a female. Like that's why I'm like it's almost like Disney wants the females to have nothing to say, which
Well,
is
it's funny because I
interesting.
think Letitia Wright was against said political.
Vaccinations,
Well, she was
I
against.
thought.
She was for like aligned with Hollywood about getting rid of a specific political party. But to your point, she was anti-vaxxer, and then they all of a sudden just like I couldn't believe Don Cheadle was like, "Bye, Letitia." I was like, "Wow, you guys expect me to believe there's cohesion because these people are just like killing each other? Ugh, crazy." Um, Before I lose my train of thought, though, I have a conspiracy theory for you about this Cara Dune thing. I think she was already told she was on thin ice with her with her tweets. I think she wanted to get fired because she didn't like the culture or the whole, you know, she just wanted to get fired. Maybe they're contractually, if she gets fired, she gets some monies. But
Oh, you're right, because you know why she tweeted something afterward, like her dreams are coming true working with something on another project.
yeah, so that was another thing was Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire is making their own startup Hollywood rival thing, right? They're going to make movies and shows, and it was interesting that she one day after getting fired was
Said
hired.
that.
No, but she was
Yeah,
hired
and
by
she was,
them.
but she treated like making my dreams come true. Like, so like you're right. I didn't even put the two together because I didn't link the two tweets together in my mind. I was just kind of like, so you're right. Maybe this was a way out, but she had to do it to get out. I don't know. Either way, it sucks because,
Well, yeah,
as a fan of the show, I really liked her character. I don't, it's like one of those things, like you said, you don't have to agree with the person. You don't have to like align with what they do, but the character that they played has nothing to do with them. Like in the sense that they're actors, that's what they do, get paid to
oh,
act.
and rumor was Lucy Lawless. Okay, this is what it was. The rumor was they were going to fire her after the earnings call, and then replace her with someone like Lucy Lawless.
Okay.
So I think she was trying to get the jump on them to get fired because she didn't want to get recasted. And the other thing too, I guess she also wanted to make a political martyrdom statement, which worked very well for that, the side of the aisle. The other thing too, it's interesting that she did it. She poked the bear, got fired, and then the earnings call was they had great
Yeah.
subscriber numbers, but then Disney Plus canceled. Disney Plus was trending. They lost about 100,000. It's not enough to break Disney Plus, but it's, I guess it made, the rumor is that people are reporting that insiders are actually worried about
Mm.
it. I, I don't know. I mean, so long as they have Marvel content, you're not going to lose millions.
Exactly. What I am worried about, what I would say is whether, because they haven't really put a stake in the ground about movies. They have not committed to Black Widow being Disney Plus. Like I don't think I've seen it that it is. I've seen that it isn't. I've seen that it's in theater release. Like I still don't get the warm and fuzzies about it the way that Warner Brothers has doubled down on, as much as they pissed off um the director of Dune. They are doing Dune as a release in theaters and on HBO Max. Like I have not seen Disney step up. They're still playing this like gun shy thing, but they're moving forward on a lot of properties like Raya and the Last Dragon, a couple other things, but they still are not like doubling down on Disney Plus to that extreme. And that's where I get worried because they still think that, and with the AMC and trading debacle, like aside, they still think that movies are coming back full force in the summer. And that's not,
That's
I
not
don't think that's
happening.
the reality,
I mean, in
sadly.
the U.S., they're targeting end of July vaccinations available for those who want it.
Yeah.
That remains to be seen. But to your point, even if there are vaccinations available, I think the public has been trained to fear this virus, whether you are crazy again, that it's nothing, because I think that it is something, but to say that it's life changing, that you've got to, I think people have to, first off, people should talk to their doctor. I am not a medical professional, but what I'm trying to say is I think people should find out information and
And do
make
what's
their
right
own
for
decision.
them. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, so, but like I said, not everything is right for you that's right for me. So, but either way, as a, just to piggyback off what you said, as a person who, thinks about investing, like I would be worried that they have not yet doubled down on that stuff. I'll give Warner Brothers credit. They are all in HBO Max.
Yeah, but here's the
And
thing: without Disney, the Disney movies now that they have Marvel and yeah, Marvel because Lucasfilm's a joke. The that is the movie theater. Like that's the only thing. Those are the Michael that's replacing Michael Bay movies. There's no like other than that. What's left?
Yeah. No,
That's
it's
why
true.
maybe the AMC's and Regals and all them decided to make a side deal with Disney, which is why they're holding it back. But Disney's got to probably accept that at least in 2021, this thing's. I mean, I think I saw an article 2020. People were predicting end of 2021. I mean, look, businesses like leasing of offices and things like that. That's all changed, and I think movie theaters you're probably going to see more boutique movie theaters, not the 10 to 20
Yeah.
theaters, but
Like
maybe
the
10,
ones that are like two, mom and pop. I just have two screens and I'm only picking up the big ones. So,
which fortunately makes it actually makes the, there's big tech, so it's big Hollywood.
yeah.
I'll call it big Hollywood. It gives them, you can't go to your mom and pop store for your groceries. You have to go to Walmart, Whole Foods, and whatever because that's the only ones that are allowed to be opened.
Yeah.
It's
So,
basically that.
either way, I mean, but like you said, I think we'll have to see, but I will say what Disney Plus is doubling down on is the content for Disney Plus specifically. So when you think about the news that came out this week is all around casting for the shows and the movies. So they are moving forward on Captain Marvel 2. They announced a woman who is going to play the villain, and I have to pull up her name because I don't know it offhand, but there are many theories as to who she's going to play, but they did mention that um she would be playing the villain of Captain Marvel. Um, they also announced that Lawrence Fishburne was cast as the Beyonder, um, and he is going to be in the show Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, I think. So that's an interesting one, so to speak, but it goes to show you that they're really doubling down on this whole like young sort of like I won't call it Avengers, but young. They have the Kamala Khan. They have the Kate Bishop Hawkeye. They have Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. Like it's almost like they're putting together this team of young people. Um, so yeah, her name going back to Captain Marvel 2 was Zawi Ashton, and I think she was in the reboot of the Candyman. I think. Um, Iman Vellani, who is going to play Miss Marvel, and Tiona Paris, who, if you watch the WandaVision, is Monica Rambeau, will also be in the movie. Um, that's all I know about that for now. But um, which is interesting because they are moving forward, developing the content for it. We've seen a lot of Winter Soldier and Falcon, because that's the next Marvel sort of. Is it that or Loki? I can't remember.
Loki's another big one. Um,
Mhm.
it's kind of funny that and did we finally settle on She-Hulk's cat? Like I thought She-Hulk was they casted it, or then they took it away, and then they gave
No,
it back.
she is. She is. It's Tatiana
Uh-huh.
Maslany. Yeah,
Okay,
they
because that was
did
actually
cast her.
confusing me. When I saw that, it was confusing me.
So yeah, they're moving forward in this whole culture. I mean, I've even seen news about Iron Fist, the reboot, which will be interesting to see. And that,
I hope they give the same actors. I just think they probably need a better execution.
yeah, I
Because
agree. I mean,
who,
they did
who,
say Kevin Feige did say he would have Michael Coulter back as Luke Cage. So the
well,
door hasn't been shut, and Daredevil, everyone wants him in Spider-Man.
who's the what were the brother and the sister in Iron Fist? What was their names? Not the actors' names, but the what was their name?
Mister.
Remember in Iron Fist, the brother and the sister that he trusted, and it ended up the brother was his friend and the sister was the bad guy.
Oh my God, I can't remember.
Forget it. Or wait, yeah, forget it. But yeah, it'd be good. It'd be good that they brought those back. I know there was a cooling off period in order to get the rights back.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah.
Punisher though is it's a poorly kept secret that John Barathol will be the Punisher.
Yeah.
It will be interesting with Punisher because there's now calls to change the Punisher's logo.
Yes. Yeah.
I will not dive into that, but I'm sure a lot of people saw that. I think that's sad, but okay, whatever. What am I
This
gonna
is
do? It,
yeah, exactly.
it's
I mean, let's hope they don't cancel him like they did Crossbones. Although Crossbones did die. I mean, let's be honest. But like, yeah. I mean, he also had a skull.
yeah.
Anyway, so that and the only thing that Disney cannot get their hands on is Keanu. I had to mention it because it's been a while, but there were rumors that he did turn down a role for a Sony. It's actually a Sony picture dedicated to Craven the Hunter, um, which is sad because I could see him as it, but I would prefer him. He still wants to be Johnny Blaze, and that makes sense because of his love for motorcycles.
Oh God, it would
Um,
be the perfect opportunity, like Cyberpunk, to promote his motorcycle company. I love you, Keanu, but come on, I could see through that. Go ahead.
anyway, yeah, he'll just create a Ghost Rider special bike that,
Oh,
yeah.
and then it's gonna be. It's not even gonna be like a Harley. It's gonna be his like freaking motorcycle
Anyway,
brand. Sorry.
yeah. No, I know. So anyway, they still can't get him to like get into anything, but whatever. He's busy anyway. So that was like all that came to my mind. But either way, like I said, Disney Plus is really pushing like this whole series kind of content like, versus movie. Which I will say it's been successful on based on like what I've seen so far, which will kind of segue into WandaVision. And this is spoiler territory as well for those of you who haven't seen it up to the sixth episode. Because I wanted to spend a little bit of time with the few minutes we have left before we hit the 30-minute mark. Thoughts on Monica Rambeau's character keeps mentioning that she has a friend who is an astrophysicist or like basically a scientist in that like in the realm of like this astrophysics kind of thing that she happens to know in Sword or maybe affiliated close to Sword. She never mentioned who it is. She did mention my guy. We can go meet up with my guy, but it could be a female or a male.
I guarantee
Um,
it's a female, but go ahead.
yeah, like I mean, like so we leave the episode like episode 6 where she and Johnny,
Jimmy,
Jimmy, I want to call him Johnny.
Jimmy Woo.
Jimmy are running away from the ever expanding Scarlet Witch's hex,
Mhm.
um, just to get this guy to help them penetrate it. But they never mention who his name is. There have been like a lot of little Easter eggs throughout the show mentioning different projects that Sword has. Everyone thinks that this could be the perfect segue for the Fantastic Four, and if so, is it John Krasinski? But who like social media has been really pegging to play Reed Richards. But that's the thing, I just don't know because like I said in the episode 5, we were introduced to Pietro, who is recast but with Evan Peters.
I hope
So
I was hoping you would get to that because we didn't get to talk about that. But go ahead.
yeah, we didn't. So I'm going backwards now, but we have Evan Peters introduced in episode 5 as the long lost brother. And so there's another theory going on about who he is. Um she even recognizes that he's not the same brother, but she recognizes him as her brother, um, to an extent. So yeah, thoughts around just any of what I said. I didn't say it in the order I planned to, but it was just kind of like frame of mind, what was going on in my mind,
All right,
because I think there's a lot
all
to you know,
right,
decompose.
all right. Let's go beyond that. So, I was gonna call her Ashley Olsen, Elizabeth Olsen. So when she was interviewed, she said, Expect a cameo similar to um,
Luke Skywalker.
Luke Skywalker's cameo." So, okay, so everyone's like, "Oh, it could be Doctor Strange." All right, whatever. So let's dive into this. Would the cameo be Reed Richards? I want to say no, just because
That's too easy.
it. I mean, is he the only astrophysicist? Whatever. Like, is he the only
I mean, it's
scientist?
not Doctor Strange. He's a doctor, but not of astrophysics.
So I'm okay. Let's
Everyone, there are theories that it could be Doctor Doom, that it could be Reed Richards, that it
Doctor
could
Doom.
be.
Doctor Doom is into magic though, is he not?
Well, he was like a scientist before with Reed.
That's true, but okay. So Reed Richards, right? So why? Let's go back. Why did she want the astrophysicist?
Because they can't break through Wanda's hex.
But what does that have to do with space?
That because Darcy said there's like a big weight, like what did she call it? There's basically a force field made of something that I don't know the technical stuff, but she basically said that's emitting a frequency. That's why they could watch on TV what was going on. So either way, the hex is there's some sort of component to the hex that has like that they need a specific scientist for. And not just that, in the last episode I'll throw in, they revealed that whenever you go through it, it changes your like the molecular structure of your body.
So yeah, I mean we've that was the segue for Monica Rambeau to take over as Captain Marvel, fine. But there
Yep.
was also that to me was the big more of a big thing, less than the Reed Richards. So fine, let's pretend it's Reed Richards, but let's that one I
No,
want
let's
to talk.
pretend it's not. It could be anyone, honestly. Maybe
Well,
that's the red herring. It's nobody we know.
was it Hank?
Actually,
What is it? Hank McCoy?
that's another person that people are throwing out
Because
there.
we've opened the door of people's bodies changing on a molecular level,
Hmm.
which is the X bit, the
Yeah.
mutant verse. Which would make sense because if in the comics she's destroyed mutant kind by she can then create it back. Um, I think that's another possibility. I didn't read that article, but I do you think Fantastic Four would be before the X Men?
You know, this is tough because wasn't it before the X-Men or no?
No. I'm saying not. I mean,
No, I'm
I think
saying like in the like let's just think of the old cinematic world.
X Men was like the biggest brand. If it wasn't for the X Men, Marvel's Captain America, Iron Man, those were the B team in the 90s, right? It was all X Men.
No, I meant movie wise. Was it really X-Men that
I
was
mean,
first?
yeah, I mean, the Hulk never did what X Men 1 and 2 did it?
No, I know, you're right. But they never linked the two together, Fantastic Four and X-Men,
Oh,
because they
no, they never did that. No, but
that
my point is that who would Marvel want to um,
push
introduce
forward
first?
first.
But the question then is, how would you introduce the X Men? Like the Fantastic Four is easier to introduce because it's its own little part of the cosmos. The X Men, the problem with the X Men is everyone has to accept that while the Avengers were doing their thing, there were mutants that no one reported.
Yeah.
You know what? You're right. I concede. I think it is Fantastic Four that would be
But
reintroduced
you're
because
right. You're right. See, that's the thing. Like, what if it's Hank McCoy? What if it's none of them? What if it's like someone we don't even know?
Wasn't Hank on Sword in the recent comic books that I don't
I
read?
think he was. I think he was. I'd have to go back and fact check, but that's
Yeah,
why I think everyone's reading too much into this.
I
But the
agree.
thing is that like, everyone wants to because of the way Disney Marvel usually introduces people and things. They always drop hints and then it ends up coming to fruition. So, I mean, it's quite possible. But everyone keeps looking through to see if the hints end up, being what they are. And that's why I think they keep going along these lines of it's got to be a way to introduce the X-Men. But we have to think about this. WandaVision was supposed to be the second entrant into this whole like streaming series, right? It was actually supposed to be Winter Soldier and Falcon. But because of production delays, they actually had to move forward with WandaVision just because they easily could film that on a set versus they actually were on set in multiple places. Like I think they were shooting in Puerto Rico at one point for Winter Soldier Falcon. So like physically they couldn't finish filming Winter Soldier Falcon because of COVID restrictions, but they could WandaVision. But they already had to have had a plot. So then the question is, was that always supposed to segue into an introduction into what you said, the X-Men or the Fantastic Four? But we've already covered something you mentioned earlier. We've already stated that force field thing that's going on is changing your molecular structure. And that's what happened to the Fantastic Four out in space, isn't it?
See, that's yeah. I mean, that's the crux of where this molecular structure crap could go. But then the people that are trapped inside that hex are also getting the
Yeah, exactly.
Darcy
So
got
are
her.
is she creating mutants? You know what I mean?
But then it's I think because mutants what started when the atomic bomb
Oh, I don't
launched.
even know. I
Is
feel
that
like
what it was? Like basically the atomic bomb.
you were like born with the X gene.
But
That's
yeah,
why
it just
that's why
activated the
people
X.
were grabbing onto when Evan Peters said, "Yeah, I have an X chromosome." You
Yeah,
know,
I want to talk about this Evan Peters thing because this opens a lot of doors. I saw people really leading heavy on its like Mephisto, its other characters in that realm of the Marvel universe. I disagree. I think that's actually the Fox Quicksilver universe because it was interesting. I one of my complaints I was going to talk to you today before I watched the episode was, you know what? I don't like how they took away her accent because she started the Marvel series with an accent, and
yeah,
then all of a sudden she's talking normal English. And then it was funny when he's like, "Yeah," she's like, "Why? What happened to your accent?" And he's like, "What happened to yours?" and
yeah, exactly.
but the couple of things that are weird. So if it's Evan Peters, the Quicksilver that's the more popular one, the Fox one. I know you like the what's his name, Aaron Taylor, Aaron Johnson, whatever. He he um he doesn't. I don't. There's something about what was I going to say? He. Gotcha. I lost my thought. But I think the issue is that
He's
he.
not what you expect Quicksilver to be.
Well, no. Here's the thing, right? He he mentions she talks about an orphanage, but then he talks as if there was a family.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah. So his memories are so different from hers.
well, she
It's
calls
weird.
it out. She's trying to test him about their memories. He avoids it, but it's interesting that you could tell with the way he talks, not the like the accent, but the way he talks. He doesn't talk as if he's a person who was resurrected with his memories, rather his like he was resurrected with the MCU version, but then I'm sorry, the Fox
Yeah,
version, but then the
yeah,
Fox version never established that Wanda was his twin.
yeah. And remember, he had a father, and it was Magneto, supposedly.
Well, it was implied, but then
Yeah.
which is kind of where I was thinking. Actually, I think Magneto's the guy who's going to be the Luke Skywalker
Oh
cameo.
my God. Would it be Fassbender or would it be
Fassbender,
Ian?
be Fassbender. It had to be Fassbender because I think Ian McClone's done.
That'd be
But
interesting.
but I mean, the easy one was Doctor Strange, just because it's supposed to tie into the Multiverse of Madness. But then, if it's supposed to tie into the Multiverse of Madness, which is what they confirmed, guess what? The
This is a
multiverse includes
multiverse.
the other mutants.
Yeah, they are part of a multiverse. They exist somewhere, else. So that's why I feel like I get where you're going and I agree with you. I kind of want to believe that he is the Quicksilver, but from another mul universe.
Hmm.
Um, because this is going to be a tangent, but Sirius and I were talking about Captain America. And there was an article, I think, on CBR.com about it that I'll revisit it back to. But the ending of Avengers Endgame, because in a weird way, for him to go back in time and be with Peggy means that he branched off a new reality.
Well, he's gonna have his daughter. Like she was.
He branched off a new reality because that's what the Ancient One said. But the Russo brothers kind of said we accepted that he branched off a different reality and came back to the main reality as an old guy. But like the writer said, no, that's not what he did. He never branched off a new reality. But there at some point then was two Captain Americas that existed in the same reality. Because the frozen one was still frozen when he was dancing with Peggy. Anyway,
Yes.
it goes back to there is a multiverse out there, and in a weird way, I could buy that Evan Peters' Quicksilver is the Quicksilver of the X-Men who has different memories because he didn't grow up in Sokovia like she did. Um, but to your point, it feels almost sinister because when he made that comment, I mean, I laughed, but it's not a
With the
funny
dead
comment.
husband.
Yeah, he's like, it's
Yeah.
not like your dead husband can die twice. It was kind of like, oh my God, he did not say that. That was kind of funny, but then it's like, oh no, it really wasn't funny. Um, and she just like freaking hexed him. Like I almost felt like there's something a little more sinister about him, which is why I almost like I want to believe that he is Quicksilver from a different like reality, but I also could honestly believe that he's I don't know, a figment of her imagination or something.
Mephisto.
You know what I mean? Like it may not be. People were saying it could be Nightmare or so. I don't know who else, but like I'm just like it could be like someone taking but why would she? I don't know. There's
But if
just a
they
lot of questions
but if they
that the
did that,
aerospace engineer is supposed to answer.
oh god, let it go. It's a you know what? Reed Richards will be a female. They'll flip the Sue Storm's not going to be. Actually, no. Like,
You can't
well,
do that. You just
no, they
can't.
can. I'm telling you because guess what? That Captain Marvel lady you just talked about. There's rumors that she's Rogue. There's
No.
rumors that she's Carla what's her name? Carla, not Carla, dude. The
No.
Moonstone lady.
Oh.
But she does
Okay.
not look at all like that. So why not change Reed Richards and make him something else? It fits the narrative.
Anyway, I don't want to believe that. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, like I said, we'll find out more. I mean, it's coming to an end. That was episode 6, and I thought this was only 8 or 9 episodes, right? So we're getting to the point where closure is coming. I mean, she's already expanding the hex around the rest of the world, not the world, but more
It's
bigger.
it keeps growing, so I wouldn't be
What's sad
surprised.
is that everyone trapped there knows they're trapped there. Like the lady trying to hang up the Halloween thing, like she was crying. And Vision, it's interesting because Vision is still the same guy we know and love. Because here he is, he's falling apart, but he's trying to escape so he could get help for the people. It's interesting, she can't control his mind,
I don't
but
think she wants to.
she can control everyone else's. Well, I think she's trying to. I
Oh
think
no,
that
you're right. She said that in
yeah,
their
because he was
fight.
like, he was kind of like, oh, like she was like, yeah, how come you haven't been listening? Like, she basically he hasn't been doing what she wanted him to do. And it's just sad because that was sad when he was like trying to leave the force field and like dying at the same time just to get help for people. And the people are like, and then, yeah, when Evan Peters said, where did all the kids come from? Like, because it's true, there were no kids up until this Halloween episode.
You're right. But somebody
It
pointed it
just,
out. Now she took some. Well, actually, the kids could very well be her repurposing stuff to make kids.
yeah, but it's almost like she can't control so many things because if you think about it, she brought the kids in, but she had to shut people down. Like those
Yeah, there
people
was a
that were
limit.
just standing there when Vision walked by them near
Hmm.
Ellis Street or whatever. So in a weird way, like she really can't control it all without sacrificing something. So like she had to shut down one half of the town so that she could have the kids in the middle. And she shut down the kids before so that the rest of the town. So it's interesting. Like she's powerful, but not that powerful. Like because she has to because the reason she was losing her grip on a lot of things was I think she was spreading too thin. But again, we'll see because there are just two more episodes left, and there's got to be a point where Vision confronts her again because they're like he already knows, but she already sucked him back in along with Kat Dennings' character, so Darcy. So
Before we end this, I have one comment that I think I'd like your thoughts on. This is a series about a woman's grief from losing not just her brother, that has been underscored, but she did lose her brother, her close brother, but she lost her
partner,
love, right?
yeah,
Look on the other side, Wonder Woman 1984. That's basically what that movie was about.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I think this, like, I overall the series got better. There are some parts where it still slogs, but I do think that if Wonder Woman 84 was in this format, I actually think that that would have been received better. In other
I
words,
agree.
I
I
find
agree.
that the parallel of basically following a woman's grief. It's like if you take a movie, take away the superpowers, it's just a normal woman going through life grieving both the loss of her only brother, her only family member, and her love. Take away all the superpower stuff. So
Mhm.
it's just I wonder if Wonder Woman took that approach of a series would
Versus the movie.
exactly. But I think the problem is because it's a superheroes inside this genre, I think the WandaVision thing is sort of the only reason I think people are kind of going through the motions is because one, there's a build up to something, but then two, these are character. Well, Wonder Woman actually they developed that character that people liked her too, but
Yeah, no, she was developed very well. I think the execution of the story was a little bit sloppy because it's the characters surrounding her, like that you don't feel much for. And I think in this one you do. You actually care about Vision. You care about Quicksilver, even though you were like, oh my God, he came back. Like even the side people, the people crying, the people who are stuck in Westview,
oh yeah, yeah.
Darcy and
Darcy.
Jimmy, like these are people that are familiar to you. Like versus like I said, my issue with Wonder Woman was that it was 2.5 hours of something that could have been stopped before any like that could have been shut down a long time ago. And to have it shut down with the truth lasso, that's where your crescendo is, your lead up is to
The best.
the truth. The truth will set you free. Like that was what it was. Why didn't you just do that in the beginning? But again, like you said, it was about grief. It was about her wanting to be a normal girl with a normal man that she was in love with, and she couldn't have it all.
But it could be
Same,
better.
yeah, but it could be better. So yeah, we
Yeah,
can,
I
yeah.
just wanted to say that because we had our
That's a
thoughts
nice
about,
parallel, though. I agree with you. It's two
and
different ways of looking at it.
this is actually, if I had to slog through 2.5 hours, let it be through snippets with some little pieces of action in each episode. Ah, that was a really lengthy episode, don't you think?
We had a lot to catch up on.
Anyway, with that said, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications for more content. We are also on Twitter with our handle at Justice Sith. With that said, follow us for more thoughts on entertainment, games, and other stuff that just fancies our attention. And that being said, see you on the Sith side.
Bye.